the question is, do people go out to shows if we don't have a vaccine? That's what I'm wrestling with. And I don't know.
I think so.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I hope. Obviously, I mean, that's my livelihood. But I don't know if people will go out to shows because they've been fed so much information like, hey, it's not about you. It's about, the old lady that lives next to you or your grandma or all these other people that are passing, because they are passing. They are dying for it and from it. Nobody wants to be responsible for that death. I think, honestly, once we have a vaccine, everybody gets back to normal. But I think it's going to be tough to get back to normal without the vaccine. I mean, like, I moved my special taping to November. I think we announced it today, matter of fact. So it's like, I'm hoping by November we can do that. But I'm also hoping by the fall I can get some reps in. Last thing I want to do is go 6 months without performing and then tape a special.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I'm more bullish. I think once we have a treatment, we don't need a vaccine. Once we have a treatment that's effective enough, all right, we're out. We're good.
That's a good point. Once you know that your life isn't on the line, either vaccine or treatment, you're ready to go.
Yeah.
And I talked to Jimmy Big Balls today from Gotham. He did the hydroxychloroquine, or he did chloroquine.
Did that help him?
Saved his life, he said.
Who is this?
Jimmy Big Balls. Remember the security guy from Gotham?
Oh,
Big guy used to be married to Lampanelli.
Yeah.
He thought he was going to die, man. He was on death's doorstep at the hospital, and then they put chloroquine in him. Bang. 2 days later, I'm up. I'm good again. He's got oxygen hooked up to him, but he did our show this morning, and he's preaching by it.
Really?
Yeah.
And if this is effective, we're back.
Yeah.
And think
but
of how
everybody wants to hate it because the president vouched for it. Because the president goes, this is a good thing, and everybody's like, nah. Because they hate the president more than they want to find a cure. It's an interesting dynamic. And I'll watch a little bit of his talks, and you're like, oh, he's aware of some high-level conspiracy shit, or he's just so dumb that he's pretending he is.
I tend to believe the latter, but I do think if this was it chloroquine or whatever?
Yeah.
If that helps, Doug, this is why I'm bullish on it. We are starved more so for live content than anything, because what's the one thing we haven't had in the quarantine? Above all, human interaction. You said it. I miss giving people five. Yeah. I miss interacting with people. So if there's entertainment that is live, I want to see that. Beyond a fucking TV show or web series or whatever. I've been doing that this whole time. I'm done with that.
Yeah.
That's the thing we're always competing with before is movies and
I
TV.
hope you're right, dog. I trust me. I want you to be right more than anything. Just my gut.
It's such a positive thing he's saying that you feel it and you feel like it's right. Like people are going to be jonesing, and then live stand-up should have. I mean, we were booming. Stand-up was booming.
Yeah.
It's gonna, if what he says is right, it's gonna hit so much bigger that it's gonna have this cult thing attached to this mainstream popularity thing, which is gonna make it fucking huge.
Bro, you know what they should do? They should just do the temperature check. You know
a comedy show?
You got a live show, do a temperature check or do a UV ray, whatever that shit. I don't even know. They've got these like thermal imaging things that they put in certain cities in China to like check people before you go to the grocery store or any kind of public event. Just do that. That will make people feel safe at least.
They'll do something.
Like you just need people to feel like they're entering a secure environment.
You know,
they want to be there bad, but you need to present them with some sort of security.
I don't know if I said this on the podcast. It's crazy India was so far ahead of this. In early March, my sister-in-law and brother-in-law went there.
Yeah.
And when they got off the plane from America, they checked every single person's temperature. You know how much safer you felt about everything and the flight you just took for 20 hours if you're like, nobody got a temperature. Even if it's possible to spread it, mentally you're like, oh, okay.
Security
we should
over
be
freedom,
good.
bro. I'm telling you, we want that security, man. We don't give a fuck about freedom.
Bro, that's survival, dog. Of course, we put that above everything.
But that's the thing. Like when you live in America and you grow up in a time of prosperity, you attach yourself to this idea of freedom. Like you see TV shows and movies, and like all we care about is rebellion and freedom, all that shit. And the second push comes to shove, the second we got a little pandemic out there, immediately we are so fucking ready to hand over that freedom, 100%.
Man. Protect me.
It's crazy, man. Protect me. Big government, protect me.
I thought they were going to shut down the bridges and the tunnels a couple weeks ago. Because when we left, I was like, I wonder if I'll get home. I reached out to a cop friend of mine. I'm like, you guys shutting down the bridges? He's like, I don't think it'll come to that. But he's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And any day. You know, the new form of being offended, if you go out, is someone comes into your space. That's the most offensive thing now. Like, that's what you want to fight over now.
Yeah.
It's like if someone gets too close to me and I'll just turn and give them a look like, why is your shopping cart that close to me? Don't get that close. It's amazing how this thing divided a world that was already so divided. It was divided on class and on race. And now it's divided in terms of physical space. You know how tight that's going to make people? How increased everything is going to be, like race relations and shit with space? Because even if it's not racist, it's going to be if you say to someone and they're a person of color, stand back.
Why
Don't get that close to me. They're going to think it's a race thing.
I do understand what you're saying, but I also think that now there's something bigger than race that everybody can get on the same page with.
Also, white people never have to worry about black people not respecting germs.
Yeah,
they
black
can be,
people don't fucking have
they can be
germs,
looking
bro.
at you like, get the fuck away from me, white boy. And you're like,
Black
I'm not
people
racist.
hate
They just don't like
germs.
germs.
But like, you know how like
they won't pick up after their own dogs because they think it's dirty. When I lived in Harlem, they're like, I'm not touching that shit.
Nuanced racism.
Put a bag on your hand. They're like, a bag don't protect my hands.
There's you know how like there's certain things that like supersede your race, right? Like objectifying a woman.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's a girl with a fat ass who walks down the street and like you look at the ass and then there's like a Puerto Rican guy across the street. He looks at the ass and then you guys can kind of like connect over the ass.
You just bonded.
Right? Mm-hmm. You had this bonding moment. It was bigger than your racial division, your class division, all these things, right? You just...
the pandemic's a new Latina ass.
That's the new Latin ass, bro. It is. Like you see somebody sneeze and then you can look at a black dude and black dude looks at you and you guys just go, yo, that was crazy. Right? Like that right there? Shit.
Oh, hell no.
You know, and then you can't dap them up afterwards, but at least there's this thing that you connect with. And that's why I think comedy is going to be amazing after this because not only can you not be offended by the little shit anymore, like I think the woke stuff is done, but the entire world feels the same way about the same thing. And it's very rare in history that you get universal connectivity. So when you make a joke about Corona, there's going to be a lot of hack shit, but a good bit about Corona is going to tap into feelings that everybody in the audience is going to have. Yeah. Nobody will have a different feeling about Corona. So it's going to be a really cool time for comedy the first maybe 6 months that we get out there before everything becomes hack.
This is a thing that also like Big J taught me years ago where he was like, a lot of people think you can't have one guy do crowd work then another guy do crowd work. He's like, crowd work should always be different based on who's doing it, right? Because it brings your own unique perspective into it. So it's like, even if we're all talking about Corona the first 6 months, which a lot of people are going to do, my take's going to be different than your take. My take right now is like, my wife only had 3 days worth of clothes. So my wife is wearing her mom's clothes. And I'm like, damn, you look fucking hot in your mom's clothes. So I'm trying to fuck her in her mom's clothes, and she's wearing her mom's pajamas and nighties and shit.
And it's old lady shit,
but it's like everyone's perspective is going to be different. There is going to be like a lot of
dude, you know what that is?
Hey, I'm trying to fuck with my mask on. You know, that type of shit.
That's all that stepmom porn, dude.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that is. That's that stepmom porn working it into your psyche.
Yeah, but my mother-in-law's not like attractive like
matter,
that, but some of her clothes just fit my wife better than my wife's
mother-in-law,
clothes.
stepmom. It's all that shit that you've been watching on those websites, and it finally worked itself into your system, inception-wise. And now you're dressing your wife up like Nancy, and you want to smash in your shed, dude. This is fucking.
I'm doing her hair with a Flowbee, all short and spiky and shit.
You got to ask Bob what she likes.
wear your dead grandma's earrings. Wear
the earrings and take your teeth out.